I'm really looking forward to this course getting off the ground. I think it is so important that people meet together and talk together. That's the brilliant thing about this, and that's what will make great homeopaths.
So many vets are going out of practice because veterinary is not rewarding anymore. It's a very highly stressful job. They're not seeing success with the new medications. Animals are sicker and sicker. Their level of wellness is going down. And for me, I wouldn't still be in practice if it wasn't for homeopathy. It's just so rewarding.
We want to create a place that is going to make an impact on people for the rest of their lives, which is what the HVTG did to all of us.
It was a 3-year course, and halfway through the second year, with the majority of students, you could see a little light go on, and suddenly you knew they actually understood homeopathy. It was like a life-defining moment. Suddenly they got homeopathy and they were living as homeopaths and breathing as homeopaths. And that's what we're aiming to recreate.
Hello, homies, and welcome back to Homeopathy Hangout, where we've got a super exciting episode for you today with lots of people. Look at all these gorgeous homeopaths I've got here on the screen with me. Whoop, whoop, whoop. We have got return guest Jeff Johnson, who was all the way, I had to look it up, December 2023. Jeff, say hi to the homies.
Hi, everybody. Good to be here.
Amazing. And also return guest Emily McAteer. She wasn't on that long ago. We got to hang out in Bali last year. Emily, say hi.
Hi. Hello. It's good to be here.
And first-time guest Peter Gregory. Welcome to the show.
Hi, everyone.
And certainly, last but not least, the lovely Barbara Jones. Welcome, Barbara. You're a first-timer as well.
I am, yeah. Thank you for inviting us. This is brilliant. I know podcasts, I've heard them.
Oh, thank you. We all have two things in common. We all love homeopathy and we all love animals. Right? We can all agree on that. I actually had my dog here with me earlier today recording. I was going to bring him back. But you guys have got so, and you're all vets. I'm not a vet, so you guys have got that in common, not me. But you've got an incredible brainchild that's just launched. That's super exciting. Peter, I'm going to pick on you to start us off and tell us about what on earth you guys have been brewing.
Right, good, thank you. Yeah, what we've got brewing is a new course, basically. I think all of us here went through a course many years ago, which was just a brilliant course. And it was face-to-face every weekend. Of course, it was pre-COVID and all that stuff. And the guys who set that going actually were 8 doctors. And they had the brief that they wanted to create the course that they wished they'd had. And I guess this is what we're doing now. That was a medical course and the veterinary bit was bolted onto it, which was very successful because we had doctors and vets teaching together, which was great. And we described it as the Rolls-Royce course of homeopathy, really, certainly for vets. And it was one of the first in the world, I think. It came on the back of a course at the Faculty of Homeopathy. So that was that. It sort of ran its course. We finished up as a purely veterinary group, and we finished up as almost really an overseas course. And we ran the course lots of places around the world. And the last course we ran was actually in Latvia. We ran 3 courses in Latvia, which was brilliant. But the numbers ran out there as well. So the HPTG, as it was called, the Homeopathic Professionals Teaching Group, was no more. And meanwhile, there was a course run at Bristol Homeopathic Hospital. And when the hospital closed down, it was taken over by what is now the National Centre for Integrated Medicine. And they'd been sort of gently jogging along, doing a veterinary course along with a medical course for many years. And so they took on the mantle, really, of running a veterinary course, again, along with doctors, which was a very good course. And Jeff was very much involved in that. I got involved as a sort of visiting lecturer. And Emily, for instance, is actually a product of that course, which says it all.
You have amazing products, gorgeous, beautiful, lovely products.
Thank you. It was an amazing course, but I kept hearing about this one that went before, the HPTG. It's legendary, the one that Pete's talking about, and that's what we're trying to recreate. Yeah.
But it all changed with COVID, but it was changing before COVID, to be honest. The idea of online learning was becoming very prominent, and the NCIM were very keen on that. And that was obviously exacerbated by COVID. So at the end of COVID, we had the course that they were running was virtually completely online. the regulations for the faculty require that there is some face-to-face teaching with live cases, which isn't part of the medical regulations, interestingly. So that sort of hung on. But we didn't feel as a group that online learning was sufficient for animals. And we all harked back to the courses that we'd done. And Jeff and I had a couple of years of talking what we're going to do about this. And we've got a few colleagues as well who would say, what are you guys going to do about this? And why don't we do so? And really, to cut a long story short, it just came to fruition about a year ago now. We've been planning, and the group of people that you see here, along with 1, 2, 3 others, were keen enough to actually get things rolling. So we've been gradually getting things organized. Jeff and I are in charge of the curriculum, which is based on the HVTG course that we ran, but changed quite radically by Jeff's experience in teaching. And Jeff ran a course with Lisa Hansen in Denmark, just the one course, which was quite different from the way we'd been teaching. It was very successful. So we're melding the two, really. And I guess just to bring Jeff in a moment, we're slightly different homeopaths. The faculty has always been very keen on the view. It was Chris Day that did all the faculty organisation and got things going, who was obviously a legend, especially in the UK. And one of his favourite phrases was, "It's all homeopathy." So arnica for bruises is homeopathy just as much as badger's milk for some obscure dog with some weird behaviour and weird symptoms. And I'm not at the arnica stage, but most of my practice and teaching has been what's known as classical. I don't like the word classical, but it's old-fashioned, good old bog standard homeopathy, really. Jeff has, as you will know, trodden his own path, and he can tell you the extra study that he's done and where he's at. But he's at a much higher stage, I would say, of prescribing, and a much more, I describe it as cosmic. I'm very happy to do some of Jeff's case histories are positively cosmic, and I see Emily following in that direction as well. And Barbara, I'll let you talk yourself in a minute, but I feel Barbara is my end of the spectrum as well. So what we hope to do is actually encompass all that. We want to bring vets out that are competent to pass the faculty exams. And that is just is a satisfactory, safe level of using homeopathy in animals. Constitutional prescribing obviously being the sort of gold standard. So that's where we're going. But I'll let Jeff take over, I think, and tell him where else we're going.
Right, yeah. One of the most important things we all feel is we want it to be live and in person. Because I remember from my own studies, being able to straight away ask a question, have a joke, look around at your fellow students, have a smile, talk about the vital force until 2 o'clock in the morning with some beers, forge those friendships, which we all have now, those sort of oxytocin friendships where you go through amazing things together. And that's what happens when you're all together. And that's not what happens when you do it on a computer. So that was really important to all of us, because the friends we made and we studied, is it 30 years ago now? Yeah, began 30 years ago, I did. We're still really, really close now, and we share a bond, which is very important. We're like a tribe, and in the tribe, we need this. And so part of that as well, we wanted to make it happen in a very beautiful place, because when you're surrounded by nature, you can go for a walk, you can hear the birds, you're away from the brush of the world, and you can immerse yourself into this. That was something we all said as well. It was almost a beautiful place was as important as transport connections, say. And we've found ourselves a really beautiful place. It is actually, honestly, nestling, sorry to use that dreadful word, but it actually nestles in the bottom of the Brendan Hills, and you can do a 2-mile walk up to the top of the Brendans, where it's really, really beautiful. It's a field study centre, and the only thing that takes place there is educational. It's basic-ish, but actually we don't mind basic. It's that that's important rather than lots of flashing lights and the smell of plastic. So we want to create a place that is going to make an impact on people for the rest of their lives, which is what the HPTG did to all of us. And indeed, as Pete says, Pete and I are very similar homeopaths in many ways. And in fact, Pete taught me half of what I know. So I stand totally on his shoulders. But I've carried on studying all the new developments in homeopathy. And I've always been fascinated to bring the new stuff into the veterinary world. And since I started doing homeopathy, I've watched this happen gradually. I remember I was sitting in a room when a group of us were discussing maybe what would carcinosin look like in a dog, because no one had ever used it. And I remember Mark Carpenter was there. I think Pete was there. Anyway, we discussed how it could be maybe a dressage horse, or it could be a sheepdog or whatever. And then we all began to use it. And now, of course, we all use carcinosin all the time. But I remember the moment that came into veterinary homeopathy. I remember the moment when the very first radioactive remedy was used in an animal with success, which was done by one of our colleagues. I think it was probably me, actually, remember the very first time that the lanthanides were used in animals. And all of these things were human homeopathy. And yet, between all of us, thinking, talking, sharing cases, having a laugh, having a beer, we've managed to bring all this new stuff into the veterinary world and understand our animals in not in a deeper way, because sulfur is just as deep as badger's milk, which is probably a very good remedy for bruising as well, Pete. And so the things which I have been particularly interested in, I studied with Jan Scholten, and I love using the periodic table in animals. I know Emily does that. Emily's way ahead of me now in terms of, I don't know how many successful cases Emily's got where she's used the gas in an animal. I've got about 2 or 3. You've probably got about 15 now. So Emily's taking some of the stuff that we were learning together off into new territories. So the periodic table is something that I've really represented on the course. I studied with Sankaran and the Joshis I still study with them now in one way or another, which is the sensation method. And that's a way where you try to get so deeply inside your patient, you can almost see the remedy in there, as if your patient was possessed by sulfur or possessed by pulsatilla or whatever it is. And finally, there's been some massively interesting work by Mikhail Yakir and Jan Scholten and Gandhi, which have been looking at the evolution of the plants and the animals. And we all evolve ourselves throughout our lives. We're all at different stages of development. And so as we evolve, so all our remedies are also part of a pattern of evolution. And so when you can put the evolution of the plants and the animals into your picture as well, one, it can help you with prescribing for sure. But two, I personally find it absolutely fascinating. I love to look into my patients and see what is lurking there. And that's the remedy. And so Pete is doing himself down when he says he's an old-fashioned homeopath. He's a homeopath of vast experience. And I'm really looking forward to working with him, because he's going to be saying, badger's milk, Jeff. And I'm going to be saying, honour again, Pete. And I think that we might make a pretty good team and have a right laugh as well. And with the ability to call in Barbara and Emily and Tim and others we're going to be using, I'm very, very excited about this. We want to make something that is really special. The HPTG was special. And they were very new and unusual because they were considering the work of Vitulcus. And so they'd all left Hahnemann and Kent and Boja behind. We're all keen on Vitulcus. And we all went over to study with Vitulcus in Greece. That was a long time ago. Vitulcus' work was great, but now there's lots of other things have come along. So we want to include everything in the course, really. But the most thing we want to put into the course is joy and enthusiasm, and to make vets really realize what disease means and why it's there, and what cure means and what happens there, and to make them more deeply understand their animal patients as well in all sorts of ways. But I've talked enough for the moment. So
I'm going
Well,
to just pop in again just for
yeah,
a
go,
few
Peter.
seconds, just to getting excited listening to Jeff, actually. And we do get very excited when we're together, when we're planning this. We're so excited about it. Just listening to Jeff talk reminded me of what we used to find at the HVTG, was that it was a 3-year course. And halfway through the second year, with the majority of students, you could see a little light go on. And suddenly you knew they actually understood homeopathy. They got homeopathy. And a few people, the light didn't go on. And they'd go through and they'd finish up using Rustox for arthritis and sulfur for itchy skins and things like that. And that was great. That was all that they needed. But the majority of them, it was like a life-defining moment. Suddenly they got homeopathy and they were living as homeopaths and breathing as homeopaths. And that's what we're aiming to recreate.
Well, I quickly just want to add that I have just come off a 9-day in-person professional development course that I've done. It was in person at an idyllic location here in Perth. And it just reminded me of the good old days pre-COVID where we were learning in person. I mean, my studies were in person as well, 1 weekend a month for 4 years. And I am so grateful for that because we did an episode recently where we're talking about, is the book repertory defunct? Can you learn repertorizing by a book as well as you can using computer software and all these sorts of things? And in that delving around, I found literature that says that the number one way that we learn is person on person. And second is through the reading. And very low down on the list is computers, because there's no spatial ability for our brain to kind of store the information. But we've been telling each other stories and learning person to person for eons, since the beginning of time. It really is the best way to learn. And magic happens when you get a bunch of homeopaths and homeopathic students together. So I am incredibly jealous. I'm not a vet, but I'm trying to think how I can quickly become one so I can come join you. Just checking with your course. Is it so people have to be qualified vets to be able to come along, or what are the people that you're targeting with this in-person course? And it's only in person, not online, right?
Yeah, it's only in person and it's qualified vets.
Okay, qualified vets in person at Exmoor National Park. Is that in Scotland?
No, it's in the west of England,
okay.
in Somerset, actually.
Okay.
And yeah, it's near the Devon border on the edge of the Brendan Hills, which are running into Exmoor. So you're just about there with your Exmoor.
Okay, gotcha. Excellent. That's amazing. So, and how long's the course going to be? And it's going to be a weekend at a time, right? 1 weekend a month?
So it'll be 3 weekends a year, 3 days. So it'll be arriving on a Friday and leaving on Sunday afternoon. And the accommodation will be included. So it'll be 3 a year for 3 years.
Okay.
With a couple of Zooms probably added in, 2 Zoom sessions a year. But it'd be expected to be at a minimum of 80% attendance.
That's incredible. And it's for vets around the world. So people could potentially fly from other parts of the world as long as they're qualified vets and come and do this course in person.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be so fun.
I've managed to get a couple of Irish vets on board as well. So yeah, so it'll be great. It'll be lovely to have an international group.
What's your limit that you can take?
20 probably.
20, yeah.
Wow, amazing.
So yeah, we have spaces. Yeah.
Incredible. Barbara's been very quiet. I wonder what's going on in her mind. What can you tell us, Barbara?
So yeah, my training actually predated the HPTG course. And so I've always been really envious of people that did go through that course. I trained with the faculty, probably with Peter, I think.
Yeah, we go back that far. Golly,
we do. So I trained with the faculty, but again, it was in person. And I do think that was really, really important. We did a 2 or 3 year course and it was 3 days with an extra bit tacked on a Saturday for the vets to translate it all into animal, how we could use it in animals. And then over the years, I've used it so much in practice. I've had this practice it's since 1994. And a lot of my homeopathy, it's a first opinion practice as well. So I'm just seeing cases that are just a little bit off colour and, it's not all very deep homeopathy, but then I get the referrals that really need that side of it. And that's when I like to bring in the extra learning I love the Sankaran. I'd love to be able to incorporate that more into what I do with animals. So I'm hoping this is my chance to have a little bit of a taster of an HPTG type teaching and learning to bring all those things together. And I also did a course that with other homeopaths studying the Joshi method and that sort of mapping as well, which I find absolutely fascinating. And I think that's a real way into using those methods in animals. And yeah, I just think that's an amazing look at things as well. So basically, I'm just a practical country vet and mostly small animals, although I really wanted large farming to be a big part of it. I've got my own farm here now, so part of my time's using homeopathy in our own animals. I'm really, really, really looking forward to this course getting off the ground. I think it is so important that people meet together and talk together. That's the brilliant thing about this, and that's what will make great homeopaths.
Do you think that there's a bit more of a trend of people looking for more natural solutions for their animals? You guys have been vets for decades. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I definitely have.
Yeah,
There's
it's huge.
huge demand
Yeah.
for it. And I've got waiting lists of people that I just have to almost take the most urgent at the moment anyway. And I just, certainly I'm up in Shropshire and there are very few homeopathic vets around here. I've just heard of one who might be interested, so I'm going to just tap into him. He's really keen to refer people to me, which is amazing, instead of it being led by the client. Yeah, so I think this is going to be amazing, and I think we're going to really enjoy doing it and enjoy seeing the fruits of it as well.
I think
Yeah.
it makes a lot of business sense to do this course because I have certainly noticed that a lot of my clients are starting to ask questions about natural solutions for their pets where they didn't before. And I think as more people are kind of like waking up and going, hang on, we don't want to be a slave to the medical system. Let's take our own health into our hands. And then they go, oh, actually, what about my animal? Maybe there's natural solutions for them. So if you're a vet, this is definitely a smart business move because we've got, I think, 2 holistic vets in Perth, and I know that they are incredibly busy because people are really actively seeking that out. So if you're a vet and you're interested in learning about homeopathy, it's such an incredible medicine. I mean, did all 4 of you start out as conventional vets and then became homeopaths? Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
Yes.
yes,
Wow.
yeah.
I mean,
And
there's
it's
a
also
lot. That says a lot.
Yeah.
yeah.
Even back in, well, I qualified in 1979, but even then people were asking and people saying, well, isn't there a natural solution for this? Have you heard of homeopathy? And I had, because actually George MacLeod gave us a clinical club lecture when I was at uni in the 70s. So it was there. It wasn't something that I picked up on because there's a tendency to get brainwashed when you go to, even in those days, when you go to university and it's very science-based, pharmacologically based, and that seed was sown. And then when I saw the effects and found the BAHVS, not long after my second daughter was born, so it would be in the mid-80s, I found there was a Homeopathic Veterinary Association. That was amazing. And I think that was a turning point for me. Again, meeting with people that was so passionate about this window of looking at your patients and really understanding them and what is this disease, what is going wrong, where is the imbalance, gives you a chance to get to it.
Amazing. I would love for us to dig a little bit more into the curriculum. What sort of things can people look forward to learning when they sign up for this? Not people, vets in particular.
They'll learn why disease occurs, which of course is something that we didn't really discuss very much at all at conventional vet college. There was a disease, and then we had drugs to treat it. And one of the biggest moments for me in my life was the realization that why animals and why people get ill is primarily based around mental stresses and strains. There are other things as well. We can talk about those, but the first incurable case I ever had, which was of an autoimmune disease called pemphigus in a dog, came on 6 weeks after there'd been a huge fight in the house and the owner had been sent away to a care home. And then the dog got ill. And that was such a fundamental moment for me to realize that an incurable disease started because of a mental upset. That even the concept that animals had emotions was never mentioned once in 6 years in Cambridge, where I studied to become a conventional vet. And here was serious disease starting from our mental stress. And so we're going to want to teach the vets to understand that animals share every single emotion that humans have. and they affect the animals in exactly the same way as they affect the humans. And when I first started putting case reports in the veterinary papers 20 years ago, there was letters coming in saying, why is Mr. Johnson giving us a behavior case? This is a cancer case, because there was absolutely zero awareness then in the veterinary world that mental stresses, emotions in animals could cause serious disease like cancer. Awareness did come shortly afterwards in the human medical world. And indeed, a friend of mine recently went to become a nurse. And in the first week, they were taught for half a day about ACEs, which are adverse childhood experiences. And it's now realized that children who have experienced 3 or more of these, which could be parents splitting up, abuse, moving school and having no friends, they have higher incidences of serious chronic disease than children who don't have ACEs. And finally, the veterinary world conventionally is beginning to realize that actually stress causes disease. And there was a paper in the Vet Record recently which noted that I think stress was involved in some, I can't remember, some diarrhea condition. I don't know if anybody here remembers. So to teach our students the importance of the personality of their patients is going to be such an eye-opener for them. It was such an eye-opener for me to have that as a comprehension. And so why they get ill, and then we're going to want to enable them to perceive in the patient what is really deeply going on and what in nature matches that disturbance. And there's lots of different ways of doing that. And we want to teach all of them and talk about all of them in the bar having tea or something similar to that later, or going for a walk up the hill. And
but we will start off teaching.
We want to teach them everything.
So at the end of the first module, they will be able to go with a little pack of remedies and actually start practicing homeopathy on a local level.
That is cool.
And to deal with all those things that Barbara's talking about, vomiting and diarrhea, and remedies to help them over surgery and those sorts of things. So that's at the very beginning. By
That's
the end
incredibly
of the course,
cool.
It'll be rather different.
If you can imagine a vet who thinks, oh, maybe there's something else out there. Maybe there's something else. They sign up, they come to your course, they do the module, they get a kit, they go back to their practice, and they can immediately start implementing what they've just learned. That is the type of learning I really love. I
vividly remember the first animal that ever got better after I'd been to my first course. It was a dog with vomiting diarrhea, and I gave it arsenicum album. And the owners didn't phone up to say it was better, because you don't. You go to the vets, you get some pills, you go away. Yeah. So I phoned up the owners a week later saying, you know how you came in? And I go, yes. I said, oh, he's fine. He was all right. He got better. I said, yes. Oh, wow, that's amazing. We came to you to see you, and yes, he's better. Thank you very much. And they go, goodbye. So Arsenal was the first successful prescription I ever had in a dog with diarrhea and vomiting. I've never forgotten it.
Emily, you were
they don't call it practice. Yeah, they don't call it practice for nothing. For me, I discovered homeopathy, and it took me 10 years before I could actually study. So I just learned one remedy at a time, just practicing and practicing. And then when I studied with these guys, just the whole world opened up. I learned how to take a case, how to repertorize. And going to study with them was just like going on holiday for the weekend and meeting with a load of friends and sitting around and talking about what I was really passionate about. It was just wonderful. And it's so easy to incorporate homeopathy into your practice. It's just, you can use it alongside. So you're already treating animals. You just give the remedy alongside. So you've got anal gland issues, you give them Hepasulf. You've got itchy skin, you give them sulfur. And you can also give them the other treatment, the conventional treatment. You just find they don't come back and they don't relapse. And it's so rewarding. And so many vets are going out of practice because veterinary's not rewarding anymore. It's a very highly stressful job. They're not seeing success with the new medications. Animals are sicker and sicker. Their level of wellness is going down. And for me, I wouldn't still be in practice if it wasn't for homeopathy. It's just so rewarding. So I think this is going to give vets a real new lease of life, the people who sign up. I'm so looking forward to it.
Emily, have you guys got a website? I think you said you've got social media, and I even heard TikTok. I'm not even on TikTok. So what are all the places people can find you?
Yeah, it's the HVT Academy. Oh, I'm not sure if it's .co.uk. I think it's .co.uk. .uk, but
hvtacademy.co.uk.
HVTG Academy. Yeah. We haven't got our Facebook or Instagram or TikTok set up yet, but we can provide those with you for the notes.
We had so much
HVTG.
discussion about what we were going to call ourselves. And we had some really imaginative, fantastic cosmic ideas. And then suddenly one of us said it was HPTG. Why not call it HVTG? Because we're following in their footsteps. And everyone, oh, yeah, fantastic. So that's how we became.
I think I found it. So it's hvtg.academy. So you've got
Yes.
a .academy domain name. It's not a .com or a .co.uk or anything. It looks, yes. So Homeopathic Veterinary Teaching Group. Okay, so for our listeners, HVTG for Homeopathic Veterinary Teaching Group .academy. So there's no .com or .co.uk, anything else, just .academy for our listeners. Alrighty, so hop on there, and it looks like there's not too much information there at the moment, but that's the way that you can then get hold of people. So Emily, you're on there. Chris Auckland's on there. Jeff, you're on there. Peter, oh, look at your mugshot. Excellent. Cool. You're all on there. Amazing. What else do people need to know? Have we sold them on this yet? Have we convinced them yet that if they are a vet, this is going to be the most fun 3 years of their life?
I think for the non-vets who are on here, you could help us to make vets aware of the course, because a lot of vets are in their own echo chamber and they don't see the demand for homeopathy or a holistic approach. So I think people can help by asking their vet for homeopathy, and if they say it's not available, tell them about the course, or just, I think the more vets hear about the need for a holistic approach, the more they'll be interested. And from a business perspective, it's a way to attract more clients and keep your clients happy.
Absolutely. And homeopathy is so cost effective. I think as a business person, it's a great thing to employ. Your intake starts in September, right?
Yes.
And I think you said that you can still take people unto about February or so. So if there's only 20 spots. So if there happens to be a spot or two left and somebody listens to this podcast after September, they can still get hold of you, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Pete and I will take them for the 3 days somewhere and bring them up to speed so they can join the others. We've been a lot longer getting things together than we hoped. For whatever reasons it is, it would have been nice if the whole website and everything had been sorted 3 or 4 months ago, but we're all busy and that. So,
yeah. You know what? It's not necessary. I love that saying, motivation follows action. You do the action first and then everything else falls in place after that. And you've actually done the most important thing. You haven't just talked about it. You've actually put the wheels in motion, which is amazing. And the universe just has a way of making things fall into place when brave individuals come together and they do things like this. So I think it's incredible. Another question. Do you have a rolling intake, or is it going to be the 3 years and then after that you'll do another intake?
I don't think we know yet, do we? We've committed to the first 3 years, and it depends on how successful we are really in attracting people. I think we would all love to have it rolling, a new course starting each year. That's the aim, but whether that's going to be possible.
Even if you didn't plan, that was very smart from a marketing point of view, because anyone that's thinking, oh, maybe I'll join the next one, they're going to have to join this one now and not delay, because there might not be another one.
Yeah. Well, there might not be another one for 3 years.
Yeah.
That how it may be. Yeah.
I'll find it quickly. Oh,
but there's room for 100 people at the place.
Okay. Just putting it out there for the universe. If you've got 100 vets, but can we just take a moment to imagine a world where there's 100 vets that get trained up in homeopathy, and what a difference that will make to our animals.
Yeah.
That'll be pretty cool. Amazing.
That would be very cool.
Have we missed anything about the course? Is there anything else that we need to tell the listeners? So go tell your friends, go check out the website, go tell your vet that they need to do this. Make sure that you join if you are a vet, because there might not be another one. And it's going to be amazing. It's 3 times a year in Exmoor National Park. You're going to hang out with awesome people that are loads of fun. You can just tell by the energy in the room. It's going to be so cool.
So it's going to be a total, I think, of 33 days. That's right.
Okay.
For over the 3 years, which doesn't sound much compared to your weekend every month.
Oh, that was to be a homeopath, but these are all people that are already trained vets, and they've already got all
yeah, we
they've
won't be
already got
doing
all
any.
the anatomy and physiology
Yeah,
and all
yeah.
that. Yeah. So it's good if you think about it that way. I have a final question for all of you, starting with you, Jeff. If you could be any animal, what would it be and why?
I would be an eagle
Ooh.
because I had a prescription of eagle 2 years ago, which worked unbelievably well for me. And my favorite thing is to go into wilderness and walk and climb mountains, and that is an eagle energy. So I'd be an eagle.
Love it. Peter?
Oh, very boring. I'd be a dog.
A dog. Oh,
Yeah,
everyone loves
dogs.
dogs.
My dogs have taught me so much about the world and about homeopathy. And my most recent acquisition, who is now 14, is out there, out in the sunshine, actually. We've actually got sunshine. He's out there lying in the sunshine, waiting for his next meal and a good walk this afternoon and a good sniff around where all his mates have been. So who'd want anything else?
I can't imagine anything better. Barbara, how about you?
It's a really difficult one for me. That I've said over the years, I've got an amazing two people that have worked with me almost since 1994, 95. And I always said if I came back again, I want to be one of Helen's cats because she just loves cats.
Oh,
She loves all animals. That I thought, yeah, that would be the place to be. Yeah, there's that independence. I quite like that.
love it. Emily, what would you want to be?
Yeah, I'm with Barbara. It has to be a cat.
Okay.
They're cosmic. They are just on another level. I think they are actually higher up on the hierarchy as far as soul maturation than humans are. They've got it. They've got it sussed.
I've got it sussed. After being a donkey parent for 2 years, I'm going to go with donkey because they. Do you know what? We left our acreage a while ago, and we're a small acreage, and I just couldn't bring them with me. I couldn't do that to them because they just love having zoomies. A few times a day, they would have zoomies across the property, and I could never look at them without smiling. It was impossible for me to look at them without smiling. But I would want to be a wild donkey. I would not want to be an paddock. Running for my big ears, being cheeky as. Ladies and gentlemen, it was incredible chatting with you. We'll try and get this episode out for you as quickly as possible. I hope you get a wait list of people who want to join because our beautiful animals deserve to be treated with natural medicine. It's so satisfying giving homeopathy to your animals. That's all my animals get. They are just so healthy for it. They respond so well to it, and it's so satisfying. So yeah, all the vets out there, yeah, get signed up to this. You're going to be in great company. It's going to be loads of fun, and I'm super jealous. Thank you very much for being with me today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye.